What's up, foodie family? We all like casserole, don't we? You know, you make it into this big old crazy dish thing with noodles and stuff, right? Huh. Tuna noodle casserole? No thanks. I do love me some tuna. Don't get me wrong. But, we're doing it different tonight. Check this out. Chicken. Oh, it's going to be absolutely, adorably delicious. You're going to freaking love this. Really simple. Herbs de Provence. Now, if you don't have herbs de Provence, that's fine. Hit me up and I'll send you some Kickazz herb blend because we have one and it is coming out amazing. It should be in stores by the end of the year. I know that takes a long time, but I mean, food stuff is hard to do. Herbs de Provence. Throw it on there. Just, I mean, liberally, because I'm sure you've heard this before. This is one of my favorite spices. It's actually a blend. It's not as good as Kickazz, but it's still Kickazz. Salt. We don't want this to be bland. Who wants bland food? Nobody. Remember that little chintzy pepper grinder I told you about? Still got it. Pepper. Nice and simple. Just put as much on as you want. Personally, I like a lot of pepper. It is one of my favorite spices. Like, absolutely beautiful. Hey, it didn't make me sneeze this time. That's it. Boom. Quick, easy, done. I've got 1 3/4 pounds here of chicken. It's just a boneless, skinless breast. I'm going to throw it over here onto my cast iron grill pan. Grill the crap out of it. Not completely cooked. Hold on. Because I've got my egg noodles. I've got a can of peas. I got a can of carrots. I've got some cheese. I've got some panko, which is delicious, by the way. And my secret weapon, garlic and butter seasoned croutons. Who puts croutons into a chicken casserole? I do, that's who. What I do, I mush them up. Almost like breadcrumbs. And it's going to add a nice textural layer of crunch. And then when I add this cheese, oh my god, we've got cheesy, we've got crunchy, we've got chicken, we've got noodles. Oh, it's going to be absolutely amazing. What am I going to use for the base of this casserole? Very simple. Cream of chicken soup, cream of mushroom soup, a little bit of milk. Each can of soup calls for a whole can of milk. No, I'm going to use 2 cans of soup mix, 1 can of milk. That is it. I want it a little thick, and I want it rich. Because everything is going to be pre-cooked, we just need to heat it up once we're done. Crisp the top, melt the cheese, that's it. We're eating. Super quick, super simple, super inexpensive, and Kickazz delicious. I'm going to stick these right into my pan. Check it out. Literally throwing those down there. This is a preheated cast iron skillet. That's it. Throw them in there, let them cook. Now, one thing you're going to want to do, season the second side. Why? Because these are big old pieces of chicken. We want them to taste lovely. So, once again, salt, herbs de Provence, pepper. If you need it, use a little bit of olive oil to lubricate the pan so it doesn't dry out and stink and become all janky. Because, well, nobody likes janky chicken. I mean, come on. So, I'm going to go ahead and season these up. I'm going to cook them. When we come back, I'll show you how to cut them up and throw them into the casserole. In the meantime, I'm going to start my noodles and finish my prep, which, well, is pretty much already done. So, we'll be right back. See you in a minute.
Get your shit together, Hesh.
While you're cooking your chicken, it's actually a really good idea to get your pasta water ready. I mean, we don't want to waste time here, right? My pasta water over here, totally ready. And remember, salt it. You want it salty like the ocean. Don't mind the cigarette. It falls out of my ear all the time because I've got big floppy ears. I mean, my mama should have put a bonnet on my head when I was a kid. My chicken is done. It's rested. I've actually had it sitting here for about 5 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chicken and I'm going to chunk it up. Kind of like a rough chop. I'm going to throw it into a giant skillet with some cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, peas, and carrots. All out of a can. Why? Because this is Heat and Eat. It's Kickazz Eats. We can take super cheap, super simple ingredients, throw them together, and it's going to be awesome. Once that's done, I'm going to add a little bit of butter, a little bit of milk, a little bit of cheese, my panko, and my crushed up croutons. Yeah, it's going to be delicious. Super simple. There's really not much to this. Once we've got all of our ingredients finally prepared, I'm going to throw them into this little pan here that I have sprayed liberally with my little pan cooking spray, because I don't want it to stick. Put it in the oven, crisp it up, melt the cheese, and then we're eating. It's going to be great. Absolutely. And as far as cutting your chicken goes, I mean, it's just like a steak. You want to cut against the grain. We don't want all of this nice, like, you probably can't see that because our cameras are terrible. It is nice and juicy. We just want to kind of chunk it up a little bit. One key, when you're cooking your chicken, do not cook it until it's completely done. There's a reason for this. It's not that we want to eat raw chicken. It's that this is going to go in the oven, probably about 20 to 30 minutes. The chicken will continue cooking. You can see that's pretty much done. It's going to continue cooking in the oven with the noodles and the cheese and the breadcrumbs and the croutons and all the cool stuff we're doing to it. So if it's completely cooked when you put it in the oven, it's going to be way overcooked by the time it's done. So let's not do that. I'm going to continue to cut this chicken up. I'm going to throw my noodles in, which they only take about 8 minutes. And I'm just using wide egg noodles. Enriched noodle product, it says. That's best choice. I paid like $1.25 and I got a whole pound. I'm not going to use the whole pound. I'm going to use about half of it because, well, my little pan here isn't big enough. But boiled noodles, I mean, you know how to boil some noodles, right? I mean, I hope you do. If you don't, let me know in the comments below and I will teach you how to boil noodles. I'm going to boil those. I'm going to cut this up and we'll be right back and I'll show you how to assemble this. Throw it in the oven, pull it out, eat it. Delicious. See you soon. Once your chicken is cooked, just do a rough chop on it. It doesn't have to be perfectly sliced. You don't want to find dice. If you want to shred it, shred it. This is up to you. Personally, I just cut it into giant chunks because, well, I've got whole peas, sliced carrots, and yeah, the can is dented, but that's because I use it to beat the crap out of my croutons in order to smash them. We're pretty much ready to go. My pasta is completely cooked, so I'm going to strain it out. I turned the burner off. I'm letting it sit for a moment so I can show you what we're going to do next, which is very, very simple. Cream of chicken, cream of mushroom. We're going to throw this into a skillet with a little pat of butter, which you can see here. A little bit of milk. I'm not going to give you a measurement. Generally, it's like, 1 can of soup and 1 can of milk. I'm using 2 cans of soup, and I'll probably use about 3/4 of a can of milk. I want this a little thick. I want it kind of like saucy, awesome. We'll get a little bit of extra fat out of the oil from the cheese that we're going to add. And, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's add. Isn't that a funny sound? You want to make sure that your skillet is really, really hot. Mix it up. Because our pasta is pretty much done and our chicken is almost fully cooked, our oven is preheated, we want this to come together very, very quickly. So we use a very, very, very hot skillet and just kind of add it, kind of mix it around. One of the beauties of using a pre-canned soup and pre-canned vegetables, it's cheap and it tastes absolutely fine as long as you season it correctly. In my case, my chicken is seasoned absolutely perfectly. I used herbs of Provence, some salt, some pepper. You saw it earlier. The pasta is going to kind of base out the flavor a little bit, so it'll cut some of the salt. I didn't add too much salt to this at all. So as we do this sauce, we're going to check it for seasoning to make sure that it tastes good. The chicken, I've already tasted. I didn't show that on camera. Chicken tastes fine. Cheese, I mean, who doesn't like cheese? Tastes fine. Carrots and peas, a little bit of salt, that'll be okay, but we're going to get that from the sauce. Those will taste fine. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If it doesn't taste good by itself, it's not going to taste good with anything else. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit of my milk. I'm going to add my vegetables. I'm going to stir that up, drain my pasta, and then assemble. Really easy, actually. So, yeah, I'm going to come over and just dump these in. See that bubbling? Oh, that looks great, doesn't it? Carrots, peas, stir. Oh, that's great. Once we add our chicken, and then add this to our pasta, bake it off, add some crushed up croutons and some panko, a little bit of cheese. Oh, we're in for a treat. This looks good already. I'm going to add a little bit of milk. And by a little bit, I mean about a quarter cup. Like I said earlier, no measurements. Do this to eye, do this to taste. This is just you cooking. Experiment. Have fun. Just a little bit, about a quarter cup. You want 1 full can of milk for each can of soup. I'm not doing that because I'm not making a soup here, I'm making a sauce. Sauces are generally a little bit thicker than a soup. Most soups, people think they're, when they hear soup, they think, kind of briny and it's a thin liquid. Now we don't want that here. So we added that quarter cup and look at this. Just soupy enough to mix with chicken and some noodles. And then bake this sucker off. Oh my goodness. It's going to be great. Absolutely. One thing that we're going to want to do is definitely add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. So I've got the old trusty salt shaker. Add some salt. Not too much. We're going to taste this later. And my rinky-dinky pepper grinder. Add some pepper. As much or as little as you like. Personally, I like a lot of pepper. It is one of my favorite spices next to herbs as well. Oh, there we go. We're missing something though, aren't we? We've got our soup base. We've got our peas, we've got our carrots, added our milk and our butter. Oh, our kick-ass chicken. Take it, dump it in, all at once. Heat it. Once this is warmed through, we're going to mix it with our noodles into our giant pan here, we're going to bake it. We're going to add our croutons, our panko, a little bit of cheese, call it a day. Then it's time to eat. Oh, you're going to love this. When I say dump the chicken in, I literally mean just take the whole thing, dump it in. Give it a good little mix. Look at that. I mean, you can eat that just by itself. You know, once it's completely heated through. And none of it's cold, but it's not as hot as we want it yet. But that's okay, because we're going to finish this in the oven. Which, by the way, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. That's what I've done here. It's been on for a little while. It's going to be nice and hot. Totally preheated. Stir it up. And now, we just let this sit. Oh, this is going to be absolutely delicious. In the meantime, I'm going to take my pasta, which you can see is right here and completely done, and pull it off the heat. Let it rest. I cooked it al dente, so I can pull it off the heat, and by the time that our mixture, I guess if you want to call it a mixture, I don't know, I just call it deliciousness, is ready, these will be ready too. I'll strain them off, I'll throw them in the pan, I'll mix it all together, top it, bake it, eat it. We'll be right back. Once we've drained our noodles, and we have our little mixture with our chicken and our peas and our carrots, the cream of mushroom, the cream of chicken, just doing their thing, it's time to build. I put my noodles in this pan, gonna give them a little swish about, and at this point, I'm gonna take that mixture and just dump it in. Switch it around a little bit, add my croutons, add my panko, throw it in the oven, let it crisp up a little bit. Then, I'm going to add my cheese. Why would I add the crunch before I add the cheese? It's a good question. A lot of people would add the cheese first and then the crunch. Well, because I've got a creamy sauce, I want cream, crunch, cheese, because cheese is kind of soft and pliable. I want that middle layer of crunch in there. If you want to do it in an opposite order, feel free. This is just you cooking. It's up to your taste. So, yeah, let's see what we can do here. As you can see here, I've got a nice, creamy, chickeny, vegetable-y, is vegetable-y even a word, sauce going. And, oh yeah, I didn't reduce this. I didn't cook it for too long. I just heated it through, because this is going into the oven. Just like the chicken. I did not cook the chicken to full temp, because it's, once again, it's going to cook here in this skillet, and I'm putting it in the oven. It's going to continue to cook. So if I cooked it fully to begin with, when I pull this out of the oven, it's going to be way overcooked. We don't want that at all. So, I'm going to use my Bless This Kitchen little mitts here and try not to burn myself, which I'm not sure if you guys have noticed. I'm really good at burning myself. I mean, that's probably one of my best talents. And dump it in. And I mean literally just dump it in there. Thankfully, this particular skillet has a handle, so I can hold that, grab my handy dandy wooden spoon, and just kind of scrape it in there. And I'm burning myself. Huh. Go figure, right? Who would have thought? Yeah, that hurts a little bit, but that's okay. It's worth it, trust me. At this point, we just want to give it a good little mix. And we don't want to like stir it around all crazy. We just want to make sure that we incorporate our sauce and our vegetables with our noodles. Because every bite needs to have a little bit of that sauce. Every bite needs a little bit of that veg, a little bit of that chicken. Every single bite. We want to make sure, oh look, that guy's trying to get away. Every video, right? Something tries to get away from me. None on my watch. Just incorporate it. That's it. Just stir it around a little bit. There we go. We don't want a dry noodle. We don't want a noodle with no flavor. No. Not going to happen. It's going to take you, well, about as long as it's taking me now. We're like 45 seconds, a minute. Just to stir it around. That's it. One thing you want to do is not pile it up in the middle like that and have a big hole there. It won't cook evenly. Because this is a casserole, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that it is even. As far as like height and width. And make it look the same, essentially is what I'm saying. Because it will cook at the same time. Now everything is already pre-cooked. You saw us do that earlier. So at this point, we're really not worried about cooking things through. We can eat this as it sits.
Oh, that looks good, Chef Hash.
Thank you, Miss Tiffy. At this point, all I'm going to do is put a little bit of pepper on top. Add my croutons. Add some panko. Throw it in the oven. Let that crisp up a little bit. Oh, it's going to be good. And then take my sharp cheddar cheese. I use sharp cheddar cheese because I love sharp cheddar cheese. Use whatever you like. You can actually use mozzarella. You can use just Gruyere. You can even use like a pepper jack or a habanero cheese. It's up to you. This is just some cooking once again. I know you've heard me say that a bunch of times, but it's the truth. Oh, look, he tried to get away. Not on my watch, sucker. Just crumble this stuff up. Just dump it in there. This doesn't sound like crazy Salt Bay fancy stuff. No, this is us making some kick-ass eats. That's what it is. Panko. I use Kickazz because it's really good. And I actually just ordered some tempura batter. Oh, it's Kickazz as well. If you've never used tempura batter, it's going to change your life. We'll have a couple of videos coming up using the tempura batter. Oh my Lord. It's very hard to find out here in the sticks, but we found it, so we ordered it. Same thing, just throw it on there. It's middle, excuse me, as little or as much as you want. It's just you making it to your taste. That's the whole point of Kickazz Eats. Is it's simple, it's quick, it's inexpensive, and it's kick-ass. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, that's going to be really good. Really good. I'm going to put this in for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just enough to kind of brown the top. I'm going to add my cheese, put it back in until the cheese melts, let it rest for 10 minutes, and then we're going to eat. Wait till you see this. Noodle casserole is good, but this is great. Oh, wait a minute. It's not great. It's kick-ass, and I'll see you in a minute. Check this out, foodies. Oh, I'm not going to burn myself for once. Crispy, browning. Oh, it's creamy. It's delicious. Noodly. There's mushrooms, carrots, peas. Oh, delicious. It's missing something though. What is it missing? Cheese. Now, I'm not putting a ton of cheese on this, because this isn't a cheesy casserole. Look, I dropped some. Oh, it's trying to get away. You know we don't let them get away. It's not supposed to be gloopy and oily and cheesy, but adding a little bit of cheese to this is just going to elevate the flavor just that extra little bit. That's what we want. So, just, grate a little bit of cheese, whatever you prefer. Throw it on top. If you drop some, that's okay. I mean, sometimes they do get away. Try not to let them. At this point, I'm going to throw this in the oven for another like 3 minutes. After that, it's going to rest. I'm going to pull it out. And It'll rest for about 10 minutes. And the cheese will finish melting. Everything is fully cooked. And we're going to plate it up and enjoy it. I really encourage you to make this. I do like tuna noodle casserole. I mean, I know I got a little violent with the tuna earlier, but that's because the chicken noodle casserole is, in my opinion, supreme. So, make this. You're going to like it. And if you don't, well, sorry for your luck. Let's try something else. If you do make this and you don't like it, let me know in the comments below what you didn't like about it. And most importantly, let me know how I can make it better. We're here for you. We appreciate you. So, yeah, I'm going to throw those back in the oven and check out the video thumbnail, because it's going to have some nice pictures of what we've done here. Try it. Make it. Eat it. Enjoy it. And most of all, love each other. See you soon, foodies.